The Invincibles. How Arsenal conquered England without defeat. Sometimes greatness is forged not in celebration, but in failure. As the 2002-2003 season faded, Arsenal stood just shy of the summit, runners-up to Manchester United, despite dazzling performances and a cup win. But what followed was not defeat. It was transformation. A squad hardened by disappointment, guided by a visionary, and destined to rewrite football history. This is the story of how Arsenal became the Invincibles. In 2002-2003, Arsenal were brilliant, fluid attacking play, dominant stretches of results, and the FA Cup in the bag. Manager Arsène Wenger boldly proclaimed his side might go undefeated that season. But football is unforgiving. That hopeful prophecy unraveled on a chilly October day at Goodison Park when a teenage Wayne Rooney scored a stunning goal for Everton, ending Arsenal's 30-game unbeaten run. Still, the Gunners rallied and led the league by 5 points in February. Then injuries struck, most notably captain Patrick Vieira, and the form faltered. A critical defeat to Leeds at Highbury mathematically ended their title hopes. Wenger stood defiant. "We lose the league to a team who spends 50% more every year." Arsenal's season wasn't failure, it was a lesson. A quiet summer, a roaring fire. The summer of 2003 was no transfer frenzy. Funds were tight due to the planned Emirates Stadium. Still, Arsenal kept their core intact, signing contract extensions for Vieira and Pires. Only one major addition came in, German keeper Jens Lehmann, replacing club legend David Seaman. Lehmann's eccentricity would add unpredictability. Later in the season, young Spanish forward José Antonio Reyes joined from Sevilla, and the club sealed a deal for a teenage Robin van Persie. The pieces were quiet, but deliberate. Wenger's priority was clear. The hunger is strong. We must regain the league. The stage was set. Arsenal were ready, not just to play, but to prove something. As the 2003-2004 Premier League season kicked off, Arsenal burst out of the gates with intensity. Wins against Everton, Middlesbrough, and Manchester City showcased a refined ruthlessness. The midfield triangle of Vieira, Gilberto Silva, and Pires flowed seamlessly into a front line led by Thierry Henry, who looked sharper than ever. By the end of August, the Gunners sat atop the table. But September brought tension and fireworks. The Battle of Old Trafford. On the 21st of September, Arsenal clashed with Manchester United at Old Trafford in a match that would go down as one of the fiercest in Premier League history. With high stakes and frayed tempers, the game ended in a 0-0 draw, but the real drama unfolded in the dying minutes. Ruud van Nistelrooy missed a late penalty, slamming it against the bar, and several Arsenal players, including Martin Keown and Lauren, confronted him post-match in scenes that sparked chaos. The Football Association charged 6 Arsenal players and 2 United players for improper conduct, with fines and suspensions to follow. While controversial, the incident revealed a truth. Arsenal were united. They weren't just playing beautiful football, they were fighting for each other. By October, Arsenal were unbeaten and gaining momentum. A thrilling 2-1 comeback win against Liverpool at Anfield showed their resolve. Goals from Robert Pires and Freddie Ljungberg flipped the game in Arsenal's favour. It wasn't just talent, it was belief. Their unbeaten run continued into November, with a single-goal victory over Dynamo Kiev in the Champions League, breathing life into their European campaign. Days later, they stunned the footballing world with a 5-1 demolition of Inter Milan at the San Siro. Thierry Henry was at the peak of his powers, 2 goals and 2 assists in Milan, slicing through defenders with frightening ease. The result wasn't just a win. It was a statement. Arsenal weren't just contenders. They were terrifying. Back in the league, they kept collecting wins, tight victories over Blackburn and Spurs, a 3-0 dispatching of Birmingham, and a gritty 1-0 win over Fulham, all while preserving their unbeaten status. While Henry was the spearhead, Arsenal's success was built on balance. Sol Campbell and Kolo Touré formed a solid, athletic centre-back pairing. Ashley Cole bombed down the left flank, while Lauren locked down the right. Gilberto Silva's calm in midfield allowed Vieira to burst forward when fit. Jens Lehmann, though unpredictable, made crucial saves and instilled a brash confidence in the back line. And then there was Dennis Bergkamp, serene, cerebral, and devastating. His vision and link-up play offered a contrast to Henry's explosive pace. Youngsters like Gaël Clichy and Cesc Fabregas were slowly integrated into the fold. Reyes, newly arrived in January, added flair and unpredictability. From December into March, Arsenal's form was relentless. They rattled off 9 consecutive league wins, defeating Bolton, Aston Villa, and Southampton among others. Every time they were tested, they responded. One standout moment came in February 2004, a cold afternoon at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea, now backed by Roman Abramovich's millions, were emerging as a new threat. But Arsenal silenced them with a professional 2-1 win. Vieira and Edu dictated the midfield, while Henry glided through Chelsea's defense like a shadow. The unbeaten run was no longer a streak, it was a movement. Fans believed it. Rivals respected it. And Arsenal, match after match, looked destined to complete the impossible. Champions, without defeat. April 25, 2004. White Hart Lane. The cauldron of North London hostility between fierce rivals Tottenham Hotspur and Arsenal. A tense 2-2 draw sealed Arsenal's fate, not in defeat, but in glory. They were officially Premier League champions. But this title was no ordinary accomplishment. It was the culmination of a journey filled with resilience, unity, and unrelenting excellence. From the first kick of the season, Arsenal weren't just chasing a trophy. They were chasing immortality. Unbeaten records in football are more mental than physical. With each passing game, the weight of expectation intensifies. Critics wait for a slip. Rivals try harder to be the ones who end the streak. And yet, Arsenal never crumbled. Matches like the one against Bolton in early 2004, where Arsenal came from behind twice to draw, proved that this team didn't need perfection. They needed belief. Every time they looked vulnerable, someone stepped up. Whether it was Henry's clinical finishing, Bergkamp's orchestration, or Vieira's leadership, they found a way. In the final third of the season, Arsenal faced a tight schedule and mounting pressure. They navigated past tricky fixtures against Liverpool, Newcastle, and Charlton Athletic, all while preserving their unbeaten status. They didn't always win big. Sometimes it was 1-0. Sometimes they had to grind it out. But they kept moving forward. When the final whistle blew on the season, Arsenal stood not just as champions, but as legends. The Premier League awarded them a golden replica trophy, reserved for teams that complete a season unbeaten. It gleamed not just for style or statistics, but for resilience. Their 26 wins and 12 draws weren't just numbers. They were proof of evolution, of a team that grew from near misses and heartbreak into a force that never said we lost. This run extended into the following season, culminating in a 49-game unbeaten streak, a Premier League record that still stands. If this story touched you, subscribe for more football stories. Let the legends live on, one voice at a time.